You gotta have energy. You gotta set the tone for the energy in the room. And funnily enough, man, I feel like that's probably one of the most transferable things that I've found coming from music into business. But no course is gonna be like a magic pill to just make you a millionaire overnight. How we went from starting to $2 million in revenue in the first 12 months was just through pure hustle. You need to have ads, you need to have an offer that can attract, in particular, cold audiences. And once you bring that cold audience in, once you bring that new customer in, you need to have a product that keeps them around and keeps them sticky over time.
Welcome to Leading to Profit. I'm your host, Kevin Bees, and I've dedicated my career to empowering business leaders like you with the leadership skills, performance psychology they need to build thriving businesses. Are you ready for immediately actionable strategies from world-class profit leaders? Let's dive in. This is Leading to Profit. Welcome back to episode number 264 of Leading to Profit. Today we have Jamie Kritharas. Now, Jamie's story is a journey from the DJ booth to the strategic world of business growth. So for over a decade, Jamie toured the world as a DJ and electronic music producer, and with support from the world's leading artists such as Tiesto, Martin Garrix, Calvin Harris, Diplo, and many more. His unique experience in the music industry cultivated a deep understanding of marketing and creativity and self-promotion, which he has expertly translated into his entrepreneurial ventures. So 6 years ago, Jamie identified a critical gap in the Australian market, the lack of agencies that effectively combine creative and performance marketing. His insight led to the creation of Defiant, an agency that has revolutionized the marketing landscape in Australia. So under Jamie's leadership, the business has propelled over 300 businesses to new heights and made over 100 strategic hires. And he's generated hundreds of millions in revenue by managing tens of millions in ad spend. So I'm so excited that Jamie, welcome to the show today.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Pleasure to be here, mate.
Now, I think it can be a dream for many youngsters to be a DJ performing on stages. Now, you've done that at the very top level. You've traveled the world and done that with some of the, the most famous names in the space. Tell us about your lifestyle. What was that like being an international DJ?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was a very good phase of life, and yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of networking, a lot of partying. It was, yeah, like you said, a young man's dream, that's for sure. But yeah, I think over time I really started to want something more. I wanted a business that I could actually scale. I wanted to build a team. I didn't want to be the main guy having to travel all over the place. And, it's so reliant on you when you're an artist, and that's cool. It's amazing. And it served me well for about 10 years. I was doing that for, but yeah, I got the business bug. And once I got that, mate, I was all in. So yeah, lifestyle's changed a little bit now. So enjoying every moment though.
Well, that's good. And I guess with, you have twins, if I remember rightly, you have young children.
Yeah. Just had twin girls 3 months ago. So yeah, the all-nighters now are a little bit different, but yeah, it's beautiful.
All-nighters are very different. I'm definitely keen to get into the business aspect. There's a couple of things I want to ask about on the DJing side though. Number one is around the creativity and the creative aspects of it. Now, since you're not performing, in the way that you used to, do you miss like being able to create the art in that way?
Oh, 100%. I still go to events regularly. I was at one on the weekend, and just when you're there at the event, you remember what it's like to make a track. Spend hours, spend weeks even on one song, even on one particular sound within the song. I could spend the whole day on that kick drum or snare drum or whatever the case is, and then you go out, you jump up on stage and you play it, and the feedback loop is instant. Like you can see straight away in real time how your creation is impacting people. And there's not much else that I've experienced in life that is like that, to be honest. And yeah, the rush that you get when you see your creation moving thousands of people at once and everyone just enjoying it, honestly, there's nothing like it. So yeah, I mean, I still get the itch, still get the bug here and there to go back and make tracks. But I think the creativity from DJing has definitely been a transferable skill that I bring into my agency, and I bring into all of the creative work that we do. And I think that's kind of what set us apart as an agency, is we just do creative differently. And that's literally why people come to us, why the big brands come from the biggest agencies out there, and how we've been able to compete in such a saturated industry and actually break through in the market.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that breakthrough because you've had pretty explosive growth. I mean, from year one, I saw that you were already doing $2 million in the first 12 months. And I think now you've gone on to 8 figures. So I really want to get into all of that. Just one more thing I want to ask about the DJing.
Yeah.
You speak about the instant feedback loop and being there in front of people. I mean, one of the things you talk about on this episode in the show is about leadership. Now, you're in a situation where you kind of leading the crowd or guiding the crowd. There's no like verbal feedback. You can't you can maybe say some words to them, but they can't really say words back. So how do you get a sense? How do you know where to guide them? Because I guess sometimes audiences arrive in a different energy and you're on a journey to take them to a different place. So how do you manage that and leading them in the direction you want them to go?
Man, that's the art of DJing, being able to read a room and just being able to like read the energy in the room and know your music and know what you have lined up, and just being able to choose the next song to get people going. I don't know, man. There's definitely no formula. There's no like set of instructions or anything like that. It's just it's a gut feeling that you have, it's in you. And I think one of the key things is one of the most important things is if you're enjoying yourself, that's where it all starts. Like, you got to be enjoying yourself. You got to have energy. You got to set the tone for the energy in the room. And funnily enough, man, I feel like that's probably one of the most transferable things that I've found coming from music into business. It's exactly the same. Like when I have a Zoom call with my entire team, there's 33 people on the call, or even, when I'm sitting in a boardroom and there's a whole board there and we're presenting to them, it's exactly the same thing, man. You got to read the room. You got to know exactly what to say next, what to show them next in regards to your credentials, your proof, your skill sets. So yeah, it's just such a transferable thing. And again, it's just about being able to look at people, understand, read the room, do your preparation as well. I'd say that's a huge thing from the DJing thing is you can't just show up on the day and not be prepared. Like, you got to roughly know what this crowd is, what they want, what other artists are playing before you and after you. Where are you in the lineup? Are you one of the last acts to play so you can just like let it rip? Or are you playing before Calvin Harris or Tiesto? So you got to tone it down a little bit because there's also etiquette. Yeah, I hope that answered the question, but basically it's a gut feeling. That's the truth.
Very well. And I think that is the formula in itself, the gut feeling. But you said something else really important. I just want to make sure people captured it, is you bring the energy. You set that tone or that standard depending on where you want them to be. And it doesn't matter if you're playing to an audience of thousands or tens of thousands, or if it's, your team of 30 people or 3 people. I guess whoever you got in front of you bring that energy. Now, tell us about that transition then, because whilst you've shared a couple of things that are transferable, the creativity is transferable and taking that gut feel is transferable and bringing the energy, that's all transferable. It's not really an obvious transition to go from DJ to being, head of a very fast growth agency. So tell us about that transition. How did you get started and hit $2 million per year in the first 12 months?
Yeah, so you're totally right. There was a lot that was transferable, but there was a lot that just had to be learned the hard way, And look, where it all started for me was I did do a course that gave me the fundamentals, gave me the foundations of creating an agency. What is an agency? What type of contract do you need? How do you run ads? How do you do certain bits and pieces? Definitely gave me the foundations, and that was amazing. So I highly recommend to anyone getting started. There's a million courses out there. Just pick one from someone that's credible, that you trust, that has a great track record. Dive into it and just use that to get the fundamentals and get yourself going. But no course is going to be like a magic pill to just make you a millionaire overnight. How we went from starting to $2 million in revenue in the first 12 months was just through pure hustle. Like, we literally were at a cafe in Bondi, just basically having meeting after meeting. There was just people coming in, we're meeting with them. They were leaving, the next person was coming down. Probably had like 10 coffees a day. Absolutely peaking off coffee. But yeah, it was just awesome. Anyone that we knew, we were tapping our network and we were just getting people in there and just meeting face to face. And I tell this story a lot, but basically, no matter what it was that they were asking for, whether it was a website, SEO, creative, Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever it was in the marketing sphere, if they asked for it, we would do it. Even though we had never done it before, right? We said, yeah, we can do that for you. We'll get it done. They would pay us the money. I would then go and hire experts to actually execute the work. So $2 million in revenue, yes, but I want to make one thing very clear. $2 million in revenue and $2 million in profit is two completely different things, right?
Very different things.
So I just want to add the grain of salt to that so that people understand that first 12 months, it was money in, money out. But one thing was we learned every single lesson and we documented, we watched the experts do it and we documented every single step so that we knew exactly what to do and how to execute each service that we were committing to. And that was the key. That first year, insane growth because we were just doing everything for everyone. But then after that, we slowly started to refine down to the things that we really enjoyed doing and that we became really good at, which was performance creative, performance marketing, email and SMS, and just general landing page web design.
And so amazing. In that first period of time, then you took on everything that was available to you, every opportunity. But of course, you honed in on the bit that's really clear to you. And of course, you're helping a lot of businesses to grow rapidly with the work that you do for them. So tell us about your lessons and things that you learned along about how to grow a brand from like 1 million to over 20 million a year.
Yeah, well, one of the big things is as we got better at what we did, we started attracting brands that had some traction already, right? There were brands that were running their own ads. They were, in some cases, household names that we were coming across, but they were stuck. Like they just couldn't get past this particular point. They definitely found product market fit. And that's one thing. Like for you to be able to go from 7 figures to 8 figures, you have to have a product that fits the market perfectly and actually solves a problem. That's without a doubt, right? That's probably even to get to 7 figures. But to truly go to 8 figures, everything in your funnel needs to be highly scalable, right? You need to have ads, you need to have an offer that can attract, in particular, cold audiences. And once you bring that cold audience in, once you bring that new customer in, you need to have a product that keeps them around and keeps them sticky over time. And with the brands that we have delivered that kind of result for, our strategy has just been all about, because they've got the product, right? They've got a product that's sticky, that fits the market. So really brands bring us in to attract the cold audiences, the new customers. And I think getting really good at understanding your audience and understanding your potential audience who doesn't know about you better than they know themselves, that allows you to craft creative messaging, offers, landing pages, emails, the entire journey from seeing your ad in the feed, like scrolling a million miles an hour through your feed and seeing a message, clicking and going and becoming a customer. That is a huge journey. So yeah, it's really just about understanding everything about that customer intricately so that every touch point that they have with your brand just moves them closer and closer to a conversion.
Yeah. And it sounds like you built a real skill set with your team to be able to do that repeatably.
Definitely. And, when it comes to ads, a lot of people get stuck in the trap of like just talking all about their brand and all about what they do, their features, their ingredients in their supplements or whatever the case may be. But I think one thing that my team does at a world-class level is they understand end users and they talk to them about their problems more than our clients' features of their products. It's more about what's in it for them. What is the problem that needs to be solved? And how does this client's product solve that problem? Rather than, hey, this is our product and this is everything that we do. And these are all the awards that we won. And this is, why we're the best in the world. Like no one really cares, especially a new customer that has never heard about you before. They're scrolling, right? They want to see, they're going to stop on something that resonates with the problem that they're having. So for any brand out there, if you can get really good at that, that's how you're going to take yourself from 7 to 8 figures.
Yeah, I love it. Very clear. Given that you've helped, hundreds and hundreds of businesses with this now, I wonder if you've got some, specific strategies and things that we should be considering. And I know you mentioned strategic hires in there and, managing substantial ad spend. So as well as making sure we're really on point to client's pain point and, the benefits for them. What else?
What else? Look, obviously ad creative is, in my opinion, the most important thing for a business when you're trying to grow and scale. I'm talking from like a marketing perspective now. Obviously, there's so many things, so many ways I could answer that question, in regards to leadership and HR and all those kind of things. If we're talking specifically marketing, I would be focusing my entire attention at the start anyway on ad creative, because when you think about it, I see a lot of businesses go wrong and they spend all this time, years and years and years on developing this product, right? And they pour millions of dollars into it, and then they go and run ads for the first time and they realize, oh, wow, no one actually wants this. Like, this isn't actually solving a problem for anyone. This is just something that I thought was cool. And actually, it turns out it's not cool at all, right? So I've seen this happen way too many times. Like, we get brands come to us all the time saying, I've been spending years on this product, now it's ready, finally. Defiant, take it, run with it. And, in some cases, it just does not land no matter what you try and do with it. So yeah, if I was a business, I'd be focusing a lot on creative. I'd be putting ads out there, even for products I don't have, and doing more like a pre-sale or a pre-registration before you go and spend all this money on building a product. Because if you can validate your business idea through, okay, people stop in the scroll, big tick, that's a green tick. People stop for this thing, great first sign. People click, that's the next sign. People actually show some intent by signing up or adding to cart or taking some kind of action that shows intent. That's when you know that you've actually got something rock solid. And even when you have the product as well, the reality is, if you do not focus on that front end and people can just scroll past your ads and you can't get attention, then literally nothing else matters. So yeah, I've said that on a few podcasts, but it just really is the whole DNA of how we do things and how we think. And it's served us and our clients very, very well.
Want to know exactly where your business is leaking profit? Take my free profit scorecard. It's a quick and simple tool that will help you identify hidden gaps and opportunities to maximize your bottom line in just a few minutes. Visit www.profit.gifts and get your personalized results today. Now, back to the show. It's a critical thing. Stopping the scroll. It's so easy. People already have that dopamine addiction and they keep going. So you really got to have something that grabs attention. And I guess there's more and more competition for that attention every day, every week. So doing that well is pretty key. Now, I know you help with your business bridge the gap between like that creative aspect, and performance marketing. So can you explain, why this approach is so effective, and maybe give us some examples of what it means?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started Defiant 6 years ago now, and even still to this day, there are agencies out there that make creative, like, typical creative agencies. They do branding, they do nice design, they do logos, all that kind of stuff, and they do creative work. And then you have performance marketing agencies who are basically agencies that run ads. They understand data, they understand analytics, they understand, in some cases, conversion rate optimization, like how to make a website convert better. But they don't have the creative arm. And likewise, the creative agencies don't have the performance arm. And the reason for this, the reason why not every agency isn't just doing this and blending it together, is because it's actually really hard to do. And there are two completely different sides of the brain. Getting them to work together is a real challenge. But again, just like with any business, with any product out there, when you can find the gap in the market and when you can solve a problem that's too hard for most people, that's where the opportunity actually is. And that's where the opportunity was for us. Like I said, to crack into the market and compete with agencies that had been around for 10, 15 years before I even started Defiant. No one wanted to touch this problem with a 10-foot pole, and everything was nice and easy because, performance marketing agencies would just receive the creative from the client. There was no one offering another solution. So it was just easy going. I think what's happened is, over the years, Meta, Google, all the platforms have become a lot more AI driven. So the performance marketing aspect in regards to actually running the ads, setting them up, AI is doing a lot of that right now. Okay. So what does that mean? That means that basically one of the only big levers that you have these days as a marketer is what creative you're putting into the platform, seeing as AI is doing all the buying and the allocation of budget and even the setup of the campaigns, right? So yeah, I think performance and creative blending together, that's so important. Even if you're a brand that doesn't want to hire an agency, have these two brains in your camp and reduce this feedback loop between what's being tested and what's being created. The shorter that feedback loop, the better. So if you can test something this week, at the start of the week, by the end of the week, get the data on it, know exactly what has worked and what hasn't out of the 3 tests that you run, and then next week be creating more of the winner. That's how you win with digital marketing these days.
Beautiful. Very clear. And back to that point about the feedback loop, having a tight feedback loop, it's a very, very clear message that's coming through. Now, not everyone listening maybe has the budget available to go and invest, in an agency to help do this. But of course, as you say, it's so critical. We really need to get the attention. We need to stop the scroll. So what are some ways that we can begin to tap into the things that you said, the AI, or maybe even running ads for ourselves if we don't have the funds for a big agency?
I'm going to take that opportunity to plug something that we've been working on then. We put together a school community. So for those that don't know, school's actually basically like an online community where you can join, you can learn with others alongside you. There's courses in there. But the best bit is we put this together and we put a free version together for basically anyone out there who needs everything that I've been talking about so far in this podcast, but either can't afford to pay an agency, doesn't want to work with an agency, or is just starting their business, still just trying to find their feet and understand what exactly to do, like what to focus on. So it's called Scaling Secrets. It's on School. I'm sure we can add a link somewhere in this podcast, but yeah, definitely join in there. I think one of the best things about it is you're alongside other people who are kind of in the same moments in their business as you are, asking the same type of questions. And what we see often is just people are learning from each other in there, right? They're learning from each other. They're helping each other out. It's pretty cool. So yeah, highly suggest joining in there. Like I said, it's free and we're in there. We're doing live audits of ad accounts. We're answering questions. It's basically our way of giving back to brands that can't afford to work with us because over the years, we've kind of gotten to a point where we're only able, just based on the skill sets that we have in the team, we're only able to work with bigger brands that are truly ready to scale and spend a lot on ads.
Amazing. Well, it's great that you do that and you give back in that way and help support those brands. And I guess when they follow your advice, then maybe they get big enough and they can become a client in the future as well. So it sounds like a great win-win in there. And wherever you're listening, click into the show notes because there's a link there to go through to that school community. And I'd also love to ask, I mean, we've shared about, your amazing transition from DJing to the business world. We've shared about the rapid growth of your business, but I'm sure it's not all been sunshine and rainbows along the way. I'm sure there's been some challenging times. So have you got any advice, or information around how do you handle those challenging times? How has resilience been part of your journey?
Oh, massively. Yeah. I think probably one of the biggest challenges that I've had is just around people, right? Hiring, firing, these kind of things. And it was really challenging because at the time, at the start of the business, I'm sure a lot of other business owners would resonate with this, but you kind of wear all the hats when you start a business, right? You're doing the accounting, you're doing the actual service that you're delivering, you're speaking to the clients, you're doing the sales, you're basically doing everything at one point when you start a new business. And what I found very difficult was being able to hand that off and trust people to do the job and, truly delegate certain areas of the business. So I found it really challenging. And at one point I kind of said to myself, like, building a team isn't for me. It's just easier for me to do everything on my own. And, speaking to other business owners, I know a lot of people have had that thought, but then I realized, and one thing that really helped me overcome that was I realized that, hang on a second, I don't have a physical product to ship out to people. Like, people are my product. So if I actually want to make it in this business, I have to learn how to trust people, how to hire correctly, how to even hire people that can do this particular job way better than me. And you've got to drop your ego in some cases to actually realize that there are people who are much better than you at a lot of things, right? Especially if you're someone who's doing this for the first time like I was. And that was the real unlock for me, like just getting out there, meeting people. Look, it was a punt as well because to get those people, they come at a cost. You can't hire an intern and expect them to be a world-class marketer, right? But thankfully, the business was in a good position. I'd done a lot of hard work myself for the first at least 3 years, if not 4 years in the business. So we just looked at it and we said, hey, let's take a punt on this. Let's invest in people, seeing as they are our product, and let's see what can happen off the back of that. And after doing that, bring the right people in, they brought their ideas, we merged them with ours. I started realizing, great, I can step back from here in the business, I can step back from there, I can step back from there. And ever since then, for the last kind of, I'd say 2 years, my role has been, how do I remove myself from the thing I'm currently doing? So, right now I'm probably HR is one that I'm very involved with. So I'm looking at, how do I remove myself from HR? How do I remove myself from recruitment? And I think as a CEO, it's a pill that you got to swallow. Is you're just constantly thinking about, how do you remove yourself from what you're doing at the time to move up to the next problem and solve the next problem. So yeah, it's been a bit of an unlock for me.
It's a great unlock. It's a really great question. So how do I remove myself from the thing that I'm doing? And for some of us, there's a lot of things. So let's start with one. Like, what's the easiest thing you can get off of your plate? Like, start there, because if that frees up some time.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes that may mean, taking on strategic hires like Jamie's mentioned, but maybe you don't have the budget for that, at this stage. Go and find a freelancer to take over this. Go and find an AI to do some of this, right? So sometimes it's a people solution. Sometimes there's a system or process solution.
Yes.
And we get some automations in place. And you mentioned before about AI setting up the ads. Are the tools that you use to do that for your clients like some trade secret, or are there certain tools that we can go and play with that may be able to help us set up and run our ads?
Absolutely not. It's all built into the platforms. So Meta and Google themselves have, on the Meta side, it's called Advantage Shopping Plus, and on the Google side, it's called Performance Max. Basically, those platforms have just evolved, and what they're saying to advertisers is, hey, leave all the targeting and the options to us. Our algorithm knows exactly what people are looking at, what they're searching for, what videos they're watching, how long of a video they're watching, what they're messaging to someone else on WhatsApp or in text messages, what they're searching on the internet. So leave the targeting to us. You just give us the creative, tell us what your message is, and we will put it in front of people who are looking for that, and just trust the algorithm and we'll get you results. That's basically the crux of it. And to be honest, it's getting better results than the old traditional ways. So anyone can use these tools. They're definitely not trade secrets. And in fact, Meta and Google are very much pushing those products, pushing people to use those more day in, day out. We do, however, have a few trade secret ways that we use AI. And again, that's in the Scaling Secrets community. So definitely check that out. We're actually using AI to create the ads, right? And to help us with that creation at scale. And yeah, absolutely something that I recommend for advertisers to check out, because everyone's going to start doing it. So if you're sitting there tweaking one ad at a time by yourself, you're just not going to be able to keep up with the volume and the way that the market is moving.
Yeah, okay. So AI there is not just to help improve the quality ads, but sound like the speed and the iteration.
Quality is something that you can use AI to help you write better copy and come up with better concepts. You always have to control the quality, in my opinion, and quality is still so important. But AI can help you with volume, and yeah, highly recommended.
Love it. Totally great insight there. Jamie, you've shared so much valuable insight and wisdom with us today. And now, wherever you're listening, make sure you ask yourself this question: how do I remove myself from the thing that I'm doing? Keep asking yourself that question, and then you're going to be freed up more and more for the business to grow and scale around you, which is amazing. And make sure you click into the show notes so we can get you into the school community, where you can learn more about what Jamie's sharing. Jamie, do you have any other final tips or insight or wisdom you'd like to share today?
I mean, look, just for any of the business owners out there, I think just keep going, just keep persevering, because, I know for sure that I speak to business owners almost every day, and they tell me, man, I'm thinking of giving up. Like, this is all too hard. I just can't get past this hurdle at the moment. And I feel that so much, because there were definitely a few years in between there. First year was amazing, right? We're on cloud nine, we're just making all these sales, and we're naive. We don't really know what's ahead. But then like the whole thing, more money, more problems, that is such a true statement. And as you start growing a team and start delegating, things break and you start to question why you're even doing this. And I think in business too, even on a daily basis, you're going through this roller coaster of emotions. Like you sign a new deal and you're on cloud nine, and then an hour later, a client leaves or something breaks in the business and you're down here. And I think just keep persevering through, because when you get to a point where you are truly a CEO and you've removed yourself from a lot of the day-to-day functions and you have experts in their field running teams underneath you, you're still dealing with all the problems, but you have experts helping you along the way, and it actually becomes way more fun. And I wish I could tell myself that in year 3 or year 4 with so much conviction that I have now after actually living it. It would have made my life a lot easier. So I hope someone out here hears this and it just gives them that little boost to go for a couple more years and just keep solving problems to get to that point.
Important message. If you're going for hell, keep going. Get to the other side of it. I really appreciate everything you shared today, Jamie. It's been a lot of valuable insights and wisdom. And so, wherever you're listening, click into the show notes. Make sure you get yourself across to that school community, or go and check out defiantdigital.com.au. Jamie, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Leading to Profit. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. It helps us to reach more leaders like you who are committed to maximizing their positive impact and profitability. Until next time, this is Kevin Bees. And remember, you stop leaking profit when you're engaged in leading to profit.